About once a week, I'll have a developer pitch me their game on Twitter, and it absolutely infuriates me every single time that they do. I realised recently that I'd moaned about this kind of thing happening before, but never quite fully explained why I hate it, so that's what this video is about. So when I say pitch, what I mean is a developer, usually an indie developer, an inexperienced indie developer, getting in touch out of the blue on Twitter and saying, hey, you should play my game, you should play my game, in the hope that I'll play their game and cover it in some way, in written word or in video, on one of the sites that I work for. So now you've got the definition. Why do I think pitching on Twitter is so bad? Why is pitching on Twitter different to pitching via email, say? Well, there are actually loads of ways that the two communication methods, Twitter and email, are different, and those differences are really, really important when it comes to conveying information. The first of these is that Twitter only gives you 140 characters or less with which to compose a tweet. Now this begs the question, how much information about your game can you provide me in 140 characters? I would warrant it's not a lot, and it's certainly not going to be that much when you've included a link to where you can get assets or where you can download the game. Emails though? Emails are infinite. They're infinite. How is that not immediately better than Twitter? In an email you can provide screenshots, video, links, all the text that you want. It's almost as if that is the best way of getting in touch with somebody for a pitch. Email also shows that you've gone to the effort of actually trying to find an email for a person that you want to pitch to, rather than just, you know, gone into Twitter and gone, oh, I want to find this guy. And it's not actually that hard to find an email address of somebody who works at a games website or a magazine or YouTube or Twitch or whatever it is. It's not difficult at all. There are a load of resources out there available, but not only that, you should just go to the About Us or Contact Us page of any major website and you'll find contact info. But more than that, it shows us that you're a professional and are treating the promotion of your game in a professional manner. You haven't just gone, I want to get my game on Polygon, and then tweeted at every single person who's on Polygon. You've gone, right, okay, I know that I want to speak to this person at this outlet because I think that they will like my game, and I'm going to find their email address and I'm going to get in touch with them directly. That is super professional, and it works so much better than anyone. But let's say, just for a moment, that I was totally okay with getting a random pitch on Twitter completely out of the blue. Email is where these conversations always end up anyway, because Twitter isn't built for long-form communication. If you want to send us code, if you want to send us test flight details, if you want to show us embargoed screenshots or provide us information that's under wraps before a certain date, you can't do that on Twitter publicly, because either the code will get nicked or the information will get leaked, or you'll have to go through this extra hoop of getting that person, that journalist on Twitter, to follow you so that you can have this DM conversation. And think about how that comes across. Hey, I know that it would be easier and much more professional to go through email, but I want to do this conversation right here on Twitter. Could you follow me so that we can have a private conversation, even though me taking 2 minutes out of my day to just find an email address and then do all of this in one long form communication would be easier? No. Can you, I'm getting in touch with you, I'm bothering you so that you can follow me, and we can have this private communication within 140 character breaks every single time. No. And what about critical feedback, or a simple rejection, or inquiring to figure out who it is that you need to talk to deal with advertising? Like, is that something that you want to have in a public conversation within your own Twitter? I don't think it is. But for me, I think the reason that I really hate people pitching on Twitter, social media in general, but specifically on Twitter, is that Twitter occupies this really strange middle ground. It's not a personal space for a lot of games journalists and games critics, but it's also not a completely professional space either. You'll notice in most Twitter profiles, you know, these are the opinions of myself and they don't reflect those of my employer, or what have you. And that's because you are acting on your own. It's like a personal Facebook profile. Like Facebook we see as like quite a personal thing, but it's also used in a slightly sort of LinkedIn kind of a way. You can also use Twitter to spread the message about something that you're doing or something that you're proud of. So it's not wholly personal, It's not wholly just you and your mates hanging out and going, oh, isn't this fun? But it's also not wholly professional like something like a LinkedIn is, because it does have this aspect of me talking about board games or, sharing lolcat GIFs or whatever. So because Twitter actually has this strange space, it occupies this strange space, when you come and boot down the door and say, hey, look at my cool game on somebody's personal Twitter profile, I get the feeling when that happens that I think I would have if somebody from Tesco's booted down my front door, stormed into my kitchen while I was having dinner with my partner and said, how are these organic sprouts doing for you? It's not the right space to do it in. It's an invasion of privacy in some way. And just in case anybody's thinking about replying to this video with I would do anything for my game, I would use any communication method, I would use a carrier pigeon if I had to get onto the front page of whatever websites. That's great in some ways, because that enthusiasm and that passion for what it is that you're making is really inspiring, and you shouldn't lose that. But if you've rubbed somebody up the wrong way by invading a sort of personal-ish space of theirs, it's going to be all the more difficult for you to get the coverage that you actually want. And in fact, I would say that if you've really pissed somebody off, it doesn't matter the amount of energy that you actually have and determination to get coverage. Basically, if you're talking to a gatekeeper and you've pissed them off, they're not going to let you through that gate. So I actually had one bit of feedback when I went off on Twitter on some silly rant about this exact same subject before. And somebody said, oh, well, to get coverage of my game, I would go to the journalist's children's birthday party and shove an iPad in their face and get them to play my game if that's what it took. And it's I admire that. I do admire that creativity and also that passion, but that is exactly what I'm talking about. Taking it to that kind of level, it's going to do more harm than good. So I do hope that explains how I feel about the matter. But if you do have a comment or a question at all, I'll be more than happy to answer. Just drop them in the comments here on YouTube and I will get back to you. And thanks once again for watching. If you like what you saw and you want to see more, hit that subscribe button, because it really does tell me that this is something to keep going. And of course, share it with your friends. That is what Twitter is built for. It's not for pitching games. It's built for sharing cool things. So yeah, share it with your pals if this has been helpful.